Enter Hernan Cortez.
Hello, my king. This is my request to explore the great riches and empires in Central America. Right here. I am asking for your permission to fund my voyage.
I accept. I shall send
560
of my men, boats, and money for you to explore, and weapons, as many cannons as I can get, and guns and swords.
Thank you, my king. I'm off!
In 1518, Cortez persuaded Velázquez, who was now governor, to make him commander of an expedition to Mexico.
It had only recently been discovered by Europeans and was rumored to contain great wealth. They wanted to explore there because they always want more riches and to expand their culture, and also for
God, glory, and gold. Mexico was just newly discovered when Hernan Cortez was allowed to lead a small expedition to explore. The governor actually changed his mind and canceled the exploration, but Cortez went anyway on February 18th, 1519. He would have been 34 years old. Our man in! We have just gotten to the new land! Yeah! Land at last! We've had a long voyage here, and it has been very long. Let's park our boat.
This is my horse! Look, soldiers, Yucatan!
He landed in Mayan territory, specifically in the Yucatan Peninsula. In March of 1519, Cortez claimed the land for the Spanish Empire. As he made his way through the land, Cortez hired more soldiers and acquired more horses for his group. He then won a battle against the Native Americans of the area in Tabasco.
By July of 1519, Cortez officially took over Veracruz. In October of 1519, he marched to the second largest city in central Mexico, Cholula. Here he massacred thousands of individuals and set fire to the city.
Another expedition was sent to Mexico to oppose Cortez, under the rule of Pánfilo de Narváez. Despite this second expedition's greater numbers, Cortez was able to conquer them and to convince the members to join his group.
Quetzalcoatl!
Wait. Okay.
Oh!
I conquer!
I am the champion. Okay.
Hernan Cortez's arrival in the Americas coincided perfectly with the prediction return of the Aztecs' main god Quetzalcoatl. They thought that Hernan Cortez was their god and treated him very well. After a number of misfortunes, Cortez destroyed the city of Tenochtitlan and captured the ruler of the city on August 13, 1521. This marked the end of the Aztec Empire and the land was claimed for Spain. The Spaniards' exploration efforts affected the domestic life of the Aztecs as well as the native people because of diseases the Spanish people brought over and how they crushed their empire and how they were forced to live under Spanish rule. The four classes in the Spanish colonies were Creoles, Mestizos, Peninsularles, and Multatos. In order from top to bottom would be the Peninsularles, born in Spain, Creoles, still Spanish but born in the Americas, Mestizos or Mulattos, half European, half Native American, and the Native Americans are at the bottom. Even though the Creoles were pure Spanish, they could not hold high government positions. They could only be officers in the army. Creoles were just as wealthy as Peninsulars, but they wanted independence from Spain because the Americas were their homeland. These Creoles were what fueled many revolts against Spain. However, in Mexico, it was the mestizos and the natives who fueled the rebellion. In Aztec culture, trade was an important part of life, yet it was conducted somewhat differently than the traditional way. For one, the Aztecs had no metal money. They did have a currency, though.
Aztec economy was based on three things: market exchange, tribute payment, and agricultural production. Markets were held on a regular basis and a high degree of specialization. The famous Aztec market system included both local and long-distance trade. The Spaniards took over this commerce when they conquered the Aztecs. As other Mesoamerican cultures, the Aztecs worshipped many gods who represented the different forces and manifestations of nature. When the Spaniards conquered the Aztecs, they transformed the religion to their own Catholicism, which still stands today.
I conquered the city of Cusco!
I have founded Lima!
Not hard.
I have killed Francisco Pizarro and taken his so-called sword.
Francisco Pizarro explored the Incan Empire in 1528 for riches and to conquer more Spaniard territory. The failures they saw was that Spain destroyed the mighty Inca Empire, which took centuries to build and stretched from Chile to Colombia. It was one of the richest and most powerful in the world, but in 1533, Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro destroyed and looted it, sending tons of gold and silver back to Spain, which was a huge success for Spain.
The life of the native peoples and their life inside the empire changed significantly as they were forced to be under Spanish rule because they didn't have the advancements in weapons or knowledge to protect their great empire. So the Inca Empire ends up being destroyed and all the people killed or enslaved by the Spanish until they died. The effect of economics after Francisco Pizarro led Spain to taking over the Inca Empire was great because they basically robbed every single ounce of gold and silver and brought it all back to Spain.